Hey, Patty from Worthy Nutrition here. Happy Eclipse Day. I hope it was good for you or is good for you, depending on when you see this. I had a computer challenge this morning, so I was unable to get out there. We're only having a partial eclipse here in Southern California anyway. But I did step outside after I finally got off the phone and took a look around to see if the lighting was any different, and I spied my neighbor downstairs who just came back over from the park across the street where they were handing out free good glasses, and so he lent me his glasses and I got to see at least a bit of the partial eclipse, which is always so interesting. I just love it. It's pretty fascinating. So anyway, I am coming to you today to talk about reading, the importance of reading ingredient labels. And once you start doing it, I think it's just a thing that you'll fall into pretty easily. It does take a little bit of time, and I'm going to emphasize this throughout what I'm saying today, but you're worth it. You're worth that time and trouble, or whatever you want to say it is, to take a look at the ingredients and buy the best possible because you're the best, right? Okay. So the first thing is be wary of claims on the front of the packaging. Some of it might be on the back, but it's mostly on the front. Things like cholesterol free. Okay, if it's nuts or beans or something like that, of course it's cholesterol free because cholesterol comes from animal products only. So they put this on for the hype and also probably to hike the price up a few cents. Just be aware of that and realize you're not getting any big deal. And you can use some cholesterol. It's okay. You need cholesterol to synthesize those hormones. Most of the time our body will make that those hormones with cholesterol, or will make, actually they'll make hormones and cholesterol, but it's not harmful if you ingest a little bit of cholesterol through animal products, so it's okay, it's all right. The next one is natural. The only thing that is regulated when something says natural are meats, poultry and eggs, okay, and that's regulated by the government. Everything else can say natural till the cows come home, haha, and it might not be natural. So just take a look at that and don't just ignore natural. Now organic, if you look for the USDA seal, that's much better. The 100% certified organic, and it says USDA on it, that's a good thing to look for. It's still a little bit dicey though. From what I've been researching and reading, that label has been severely compromised. For instance, Walmart is one of the highest distributors of organic food products now. And a lot of their products, like if you buy meat that is organically grown, or they can come from caged operations where they're not out on the pastures. And it used to be that if something was organically grown, it was out. They were out on the pastures eating the grass, and yes, getting organic feed too, unless it was considered a grass-fed animal or a pastured animal. But that's not the way it is anymore. So some of the organic products that you are buying can be actually from caged operations where they're really just, it's just so compressed and just awful. So, I don't even know what to tell you about that because I don't think there's anything that you can do. I myself buy most of my meat products from Farmers Market. There's a place called, or a booth called Autonomy Farms. They're in Bakersfield, California, about an hour and 20 minutes away, depending on how fast you drive. And I've looked at and seen pictures of the animals out on in the pasture eating grass. They're also grass-fed too, which is great. I think that's wonderful because they're much higher in omega-3s, and we want more omega-3s because in our diet we usually get way more omega-6s. So we wanted to have a good balance. Anywho, so they have also bought property that has not been messed up by pesticides, and they are now growing vegetables, not fruits, but just vegetables. And while it's being organically grown right now, they're not certified yet, but they're in the process of getting certified. So I'm buying my stuff from them. They're great. So check out your farmer's market, and usually they have a meat vendor there that's pretty healthy. So go for it. And local. That's the other thing. Local. What's local? Is it 3 hours away, 5 hours away, 10 hours away, 1 hour away? You kind of have to check those things out. So check the label to see if there's an address, a city, where the meat has been raised or the vegetables or whatever produce has been grown. Okay, so the second thing you want to do, so that was the first one, be wary of the claims on the front. Now we go to the back, and the first thing we want to note is the serving size. And this can be a little bit crazy because I have read some ingredients and taken a look, I forgot to take a look at the serving size, and it's like, oh wow, there's not that much in here, there's not much in here. And then I see the serving size, which is like 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon, and it's like, ugh, you know, if I eat half a cup of that, well, that's a whole different story. That's a lot more nutrients, ingredients, some of which I don't want. So just make sure you're dealing with the correct serving size first, and then you can figure out whether this is a good product or not. Next is fat content. So you want to look, make sure there are no trans fats at all. These are very unhealthy, cancer-causing. They're pretty much out of most foods, but if you go for the real junky stuff, there could still be some trans fats, and you don't want that at all. So just put it right back on the shelf and look for something else. You want to go about 5 grams or lower of unsaturated fat. I was reading 3, but I think 5 grams are just fine, unless it's oil or something like raw cacao butter, which is going to be way over the 5 grams, but it's still really healthy for you. All right, so next one is fiber. So fiber, we need at least 25 to 35 grams per day. And so we want to get the highest fiber as possible. So this is where you would take a look at the ingredients, and you would also take a look at other products or other brands of the same products and compare. Yes, this takes time, but again, I'm worth it. Are you worth it? Of course you are. All right. So it just takes just a few seconds. You can just pick up another jar, or another bottle, or another package and say, okay, this one has more fiber than the other one, and it has the same amount, it's the same serving size. Well, I'm going to get the one with more fiber, because the more fiber, the better, usually. All right, so next one, that was fiber. Before we had fat content, now we have salt. The average human being should have no more than 3,400 milligrams of salt per day, which is less than 2 teaspoonfuls. And unfortunately, a lot of packaged processed foods have not very healthy salt in there. So I will buy stuff that is either low salt or unsalted and add my own salt, which is the pink Himalayan, or the sea salt, the Celtic, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce that, Celtic, maybe you can let me know what it is. And add that myself, and just kind of, you know, that way you can monitor and see how much you are taking in if you want. And then of course, we're gonna look for sugar, right? All right, so the government is changing the way companies will be labeling their food starting in July of 2018. So right now we're stuck with the old way of labeling, which is they are allowed to add in the naturally occurring sugars and the added sugars that they put in. And that's what we want to differentiate between, okay? So after that, they're going to take out the added sugars and list those separately, which I think will be really helpful, because you definitely want products without added sugars in them if at all possible. And again, you can compare between brands and get the best brand. Look out for high fructose corn syrup, corn syrup, this is in the ingredients now. This is a little bit lower than the nutrients. You just want to skip down and take a look at the ingredients. Sucrose, fruit juice concentrate, that's a big one. It's kind of disguised as sugar. That has fructose in it. And as I discussed in my video of the grocery store, when we were looking at hidden sugars and the amounts of sugars in products, we don't want too much fructose, because that will overtax your liver if you're eating like 4 or 5 pieces of fruit a day, things like that. That's not a good idea. I suggest 1 to 2. And the other thing I wanted to say is, I think to make it simpler is you can take a look at the ingredients, and if it has sugar in the first or second, they're listed by amount. And I just got a phone call, whoops. So what you want to do is get a product that has ingredients that are about 4 or 5, listed 4th or 5th down the line. Okay? All right. And, oh, so then you go to the ingredients list and you're looking for nutrient density. So for example, if you have 10 grams of naturally healthy fat from guacamole, say the avocados, that's cool, versus chips fried in soybean oil that's also 10 grams of fat. Not cool, because first of all, soybean oil is a vegetable oil that is usually genetically modified, so you don't know what you're dealing with there, what it's going to do to your body. Secondly, it is, if it's fried at high heat, then it oxidizes and it can be a cancer-causing component, and you don't want that in your body either. Plus you have the chips that turn to sugar. So it's a trifecta of poor health. All right, and lastly, but not leastly, avoid hydrogenated oils. Those are not good for you, and partially hydrogenated oils. Those are really bad for your heart. You only have one heart. MSG, white refined flour, so that can turn to sugar, and that will not be obviously listed on the ingredients because you can't measure sugar that comes in from outside the body like that and then gets turned to sugar. Sorry, flour that turns to sugar. Artificial dyes, their numbers, you know, red number 2, blue number 1, all that stuff, cancer causing, not good, don't do it. Nitrates and nitrites are not the best for you, and you would want to get products like, say if you want to buy some bacon and it's pastured bacon, I know it's kind of pricey, but it's much better for you. They're not fed crappy crap. And they add, or they cure it with nitrates or nitrites that are added by adding celery salt. That's a natural product, and they have, and also beetroot, I believe, beetroot powder. They have naturally occurring nitrites, I believe it is. That's better. That's better. So look for that. Okay, and also additives like gums drives me crazy. So with the boxes of the milks, like almond milk and coconut milk, hemp milk, camel milk, whatever. I've not tried that, by the way. If anybody's tried it, let me know. Anyway, so what you want to do is take a look and see the gums, if there are gums added, and 9 times out of 10 there will be. You can order some off of Amazon that are completely pure, but I choose to make my own. And almond milk is a little bit more labor intensive where you have to pass it through a nut milk bag, but I love hemp milk because you just throw 4 cups of water in a blender with 2/3 cups of hemp milk, maybe a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of stevia, whatever you want to do. Blend it up for about a minute, minute and a half, and you don't have to strain it through a nut milk bag. And I am a little bit lazy, so I like to do that more often. It has a little bit of more of a plant taste than the almond milk, but I think it's great. I think it's great to put in smoothies. Hemp is a great product for you, so go for it. Otherwise, you know, I don't know why they have to add all these gums all of a sudden. Apparently, the American public cannot just shake the box so it doesn't separate. That's what it's all about, is that it separates. When I make almond milk and I put it in a clear pitcher, when I pull it out, the almond E part is at the bottom, and then there's more water on top. And yeah, you have to shake it. Whoop-de-doo. It's not a big deal. I just don't get it. So some of these gums can cause problems like carrageenan. There's a couple other ones out there, gum arabic. They're not guaranteed to cause problems, but they can cause problem in your digestive system, in your stomach, and also in your digestive tract. So, you know, just want to keep away from those things. Just be aware. That's the best thing to do. And yes, it does take a little bit of time, but again, you're worth it, right? Okay, so if you want to talk to me any more about any of these things, you can go to my website, worthynutrition.com, and on the front page, the home page, you can scroll down and make a 20-minute appointment with me, and we'll get on the phone and talk. Or if you're local, I can come to your place, or we can go to Starbucks, whatever is good for you. And we'll just talk and see if it's a good fit for us to work together, okay? All right, any questions? Oh, hi, Lori, how's it going? Swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. Okay, I guess she hasn't said anything yet. Anyway, hi, Lori. Thanks for joining me. I'm actually out of here, but I just wanted to pop in and just say, read those ingredients labels. It's so important, and you're worth it, which is why I named my company Worthy Nutrition. You're worth it. Okay, talk to you later. Ciao for now.